A dog is lying by the door. It hasn't moved in an hour. Then, from 2 streets away, a car engine changes pitch, turning, slowing, approaching. Dog's ears lift before the sound reaches human hearing. It knows. Not guesses. Knows. That moment is worth pausing on. In that instant, the dog isn't thinking about a person. It's tracking a pattern, a sound, a rhythm, a signature memoized without ever being taught. We assume animals see us the way we see ourselves. A name, a face, a person with a job, a history, a life outside this room. They don't. A dog has never wondered what you do for a living. It has never registered the color of your car, the brand of your coat, or the tone you use with strangers on the phone. What it registers is simpler and stranger. The exact cadence of your footsteps on a hardwood floor. The half-second delay between your key turning and the door opening. The precise pitch your voice drops to right before you leave. To an animal, you are not a person. You are a set of signals, repeated enough times to become predictable, and therefore, safe. Which raises an uncomfortable question. A creature that has lived beside humans for over 10,000 years still doesn't understand what we are, only what we consistently do. Maybe understanding was never the point. Maybe the dog by the door isn't waiting for a person. It's waiting for a pattern to complete itself. And if that's true for a dog, what does a cat see? What does a wild animal, one that never chose to live near us at all, actually register when a human walks into its world? A cat is different. It doesn't wait by the door. It doesn't track your footsteps with the same urgency. For years, researchers assumed this meant cats simply didn't care, that unlike dogs, they had never truly bonded with humans at all. Then the studies caught up with the animal. Cats form attachments to their owners that look, on closer measurement, remarkably similar to the bonds seen in dogs, even in human infants. The difference isn't the absence of feeling, it's the absence of display. A cat processes you constantly. It just doesn't perform that processing for your benefit. So what does a cat actually see, when it looks at you? Not an owner. Not even, strictly, a bigger animal. Some researchers believe cats may treat humans as oversized cats, clumsy ones, unable to hunt properly, unable to groom themselves without help, but still worth living alongside. Their headbutt, the slow blink, the tail curled around your ankle, these aren't gestures of submission. They are the same signals a cat gives another cat it trusts. Your cat may not know it isn't looking at a person. It may simply be looking at a very large, very strange member of its own species. Now take that question outside the house. A wild animal has no history with humans at all. No door it waits beside, no name it's learned to answer to. When a deer freezes at the forest's edge, or a bird startles the moment you step too close, you are not being recognized. You are being calculated. Every wild animal runs a life threat assessment in the background of its mind, measuring distance, speed, size, behavior, deciding whether you are predator, obstacle, or nothing at all. To that animal, you are not human. You are a variable. And for most of evolutionary history, that variable has meant one thing, something to survive. So here is the real question underneath all of this. If a dog only knows you by pattern, and a cat only knows you by signal, and a wild animal only knows you as a variable to survive, then none of them have ever actually met you. Not the you with a name. Not the you with memories, doubts, a childhood, a future you're still building. That version of you exists only inside human minds, spoken in human language, understood only by your own species. To every other creature on this planet, you are something simpler. A shape. A sound. A smell that repeats. A pattern that either threatens or protects. And maybe that's not a small thing. Maybe it's the opposite. Because if animals never see the identity we spend our whole lives building, the job title, the reputation, the story we tell about ourselves, then what they respond to is something more honest than any of that. Not who you say you are. Who you actually, consistently, are. The dog isn't loyal to your name. It's loyal to your behavior, repeated enough times to be trusted. The cat isn't bonded to your role in its life. It's bonded to a presence it has learned, through repetition, to feel safe beside. And the wild animal at the edge of the forest isn't afraid of you specifically. It's afraid of what your species has, historically, been capable of. In a strange way, animals may understand something about us that we rarely admit to ourselves. That identity is not what we claim. It's what we repeat. Every walk to their door. Every tone of voice. Every small, ordinary action, done the same way, thousands of times, that is the self an animal actually sees. Not the polished one. The real one. So the next time an animal looks at you, a dog by the door, a cat across the room, a bird pausing mid-flight to watch you pass, understand what's actually happening. It isn't wondering what you do for a living. It's reading who you really are. And maybe, in that moment, it knows you better than you know yourself. If this made you see your own pet differently, subscribe, because there are stranger truths about the animal world still ahead.